Good afternoon, Scott Redler, T3 Live. Welcome to today's recap. It is Tuesday, and actually some pretty decent action today. I think I came in today with a mindset that would probably get a little bit of downside follow through to yesterday's little RDR in the top end of the resistance range in all the sectors, but it could be buyable. So everyone on Redler All Access, I said, somewhere between 208.40 and lower, I'm going to be a buyer of the spiders, and I think, even on the VTF, we started buying them around 208.16, and I still have some. As far as other sectors, other stocks, we definitely were trading them, somewhat all day long, and there was better action in some names than others. That's the way it's been, very hit and run. But all in all, with that type of plan where, if you sold strength yesterday before the market pulled back into the close, and then you had the down move, it was definitely better, at least for the day, to be a buyer versus seller into the hole. And you look here at the chart of the SPX, you will see that here is, a close-up of the range. This was the top end of the range where yesterday there was not enough power to break above it. Look where we came from. At some point last week, remember, we bounced off of here multiple times, and that, remember, all weekend long on the jobs report, I think we were even trading well into this area. Okay, actually, this was, I think, Monday. But anyway, Thursday, we closed above it. A little bit of a failure yesterday at this area. So if you sold here when it had a push-through failure or got short, you had multiple opportunities to cover and maybe even position long. Okay, talked about, if you go to the spiders, about this area. And I think I even posted the chart on all the Twitter feeds. With that being said, everyone had the time and the wherewithal to work their plan. First you plan your work, then you work your plan. This is where we went down to, right into the zone. Okay, and go to the chart. This was the zone. So here we are right back. Looks as if with a little bit more of a platform now, perhaps there might be enough juice to get above this. We shall see. Okay, we've been choppy for a little while. I don't know how many days. The reason why I was kind of thinking about that is I was thinking sort of like the same thing that happened here. If you remember when we had this big move off the lows, actually a nice little red dog reversal right here, came to the upper end of the range. One day failure, everyone said we're going back to the bottom end, held the 8th day and then went. Okay, this one actually even had a little bit more of a decisive move versus what happened here. So we shall see. Let's see if we could, we definitely looks more neutral to positive than neutral to negative. You look real quickly at the MDY. Also, after failing to break out into new highs, which the market wasn't ready for yesterday, what did it do? It held the 8 and 21 day the same way it's been doing for this trend. I think the Russell did the exact same thing. Trend intact, definitely choppy, definitely a little wishy-washy. But, you draw your ascending channel here, held in real nice, and now we'll see within the coming sessions if we could take that out. Retail sales were weak. Let's see what did retail do today. Did not fall apart and still hanging around, but a little chippy-choppy. This morning we had the banks. Banks came out with earnings, and they were pretty strong. Okay, you look at JP Morgan, a little bit of a doji, okay, which it's no big deal really, but it did break above this area yesterday. We talked about 62.50, and it went as high as almost 63, 61 before coming off a little bit. So now we'll see if it could digest a little bit above this gap, go sideways to continue. All in all, looking decent. Goldman Sachs, last week we talked about it breaking above 193. I wish I was actually playing it versus trying to play other things off it, but here was your clean breakout, almost to the highs of the year, right back to this spot. Not so shabby, above the 8 and 21 day. It's been up for 4 days, leading the way. So just if you were in it, they gave you this nice little trade prior to earnings. Morgan Stanley, it's definitely, I'm not trading this right at all. Got stopped out of it from Florida just because it was the weakest stock on a strong day and it ruined my Friday. But anyway, now it seems as if it's going to try again. So it does seem that this 37 is going to be a big area to see if it could trade through. Trades through. The high of the year is 39, and that's $2. It's a lot of room between here and there. Just because everybody hates it, and it's been such a laggard and such a piece of you-know-what this year, I did buy some 15.50 calls. I think the premium was 15 cents, and if they say anything worthwhile, maybe it gets into the 1640, 1650 area, which would give you a double on options. If not, risk is premium paid. Wells Fargo actually wound up coming up after its earnings, which weren't really weak, but they sold it off to begin with and wound up holding here. So we'll see what's next there. And the XLF, I would definitely watch this in coming sessions, as if it looks like it's ready to start to head to the upper end here. And that's a decent move there. And if you want a little bit of juice, the FAS is even better. And there's still room to the higher end. So if the market wants to break out, we'll get a few more bank earnings in. We'll see what happens with Bank of America tomorrow. Maybe that happens. As far as stocks are concerned, still a lot of action all around. That WUBA news was crazy. People in the chat soared up $4 or $5, and it wound up going a heck of a lot more than that. Holy cow, squeezing the heck out of shorts. And if you happen to have a buy stop in, because the stock's been sort of strong above this pivot, and you were out for the day, you got a pretty penny if you traded it through it. Every sell happened to be a bad sell, but we'll see. Some of the other Chinese internets woke up. Broken type of weaker names, but from 95 all the way down here, it did have a nice wide range bar the other time, and here's day one, so maybe this could continue. BITA, the same thing. Broken type of Chinese name all the way at the lows, engulfed this little spots below the moving average, so you have to be careful, but you'll see. And then BABA, it's trying. It's trying. I guess I went back to it today a little bit just because it did do well by me last week when it cleared this little spot. You had a quick 2-day move, pulled back, little red dog reversal today. You want to take a closer look. Instead of paying up and buying momentum, buying it in the hole here could work for perhaps more upside action to the top end of this area. So if you entered in here, you'll see if you can get some follow through. Social media, Facebook is acting pretty well. It came back a little bit more than some people thought today, and I actually did two things with it. One, when it I talked yesterday before it actually ignited about buying some options for earnings, because if you have a bullish thesis on earnings for Facebook, chances are if it gets above 86, you're looking at something closer to what is that, closer to 90. So with the volatility down, it was lower today. I bought the 84s, thinking that okay, 84 to 86, that covers the premium, and if it's real, it should be 89 to 90, and that should be a good play. If it doesn't have superior earnings and the expenses are high again, then risk is premium paid, and we'll see. And if they happen to run it, because we have till next week, beforehand, maybe even they run it to here, you sell some higher options, and then you have a free play. So we'll see what happens in this little base. I figured, not a bad spot to try and put a little options on. And I'm also long the stock. I was on the stock, got long yesterday, and got back into it in the afternoon, and it looks pretty strong, held above this zone. We'll see. Twitter did a bit of a washout, so tomorrow will be interesting. If you remember on this day, it also, first you had this, the gap it held. Here's when it went above this, that breakout that didn't have follow through. Then it was flagging this day, I remember, got a lot of people out, and then it started to trend again. So I was thinking today maybe they do the same type of thing where they stop some people out, and then once people get out of the way, it goes again. But in order for that to really be valid, it's got to get above, just say this 51.81 with authority. So I went out and bought the 51s another week out. I was thinking this is more of an earnings story. I wasn't thinking it as a Google buying them story. Some people start to think that when all those news, the news is out there, but we'll see. Overall, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 down days, still above the 21-day. I think tomorrow will be an important day for Twitter. I'm in the calls, I'm not in the stock. Apple's still lethargic, still in this range. You've got to wait for, earnings to happen here. Well, it's just in this range. Not much you could say about it. I really didn't trade it much. I tried it once or twice, and it was just still heavy. Some people, same way people are trying to buy it, to break above. Some people thinking it's a short at the 50-day, and we'll see what happens in the next session or so. It might just stay in this range and continue to frustrate both sides, and then we'll wait till earnings, which aren't until next week. But overall, still caught here. Typically, Apple, what it's been doing during this entire move is it goes up, You know, here was this huge consolidation. Remember the big buyback, the big stock split. iPhone went ahead. I said it would go to 100. People made a lot of money on that call. Then prior to the next quarter's earnings, went sideways, gapped up after, another big move. Then until earnings, it also consolidated again. This was your gap up after earnings and your run. Remember, we were buying it through this 120. Wasn't that fun? And now it's just sitting here. You know, chances are it gets a little tougher when you get base, go, base, go, base, go. So some people are thinking, you know, can it continue? So, you know, the consensus guy in me says it might be a little difficult because everyone's thinking, you know, it can, but really, you know, you put a spade, we call a spade, it still trades at such a small PE. They're going to do a buyback. They're going to do a dividend raise. I think the watch is going to be a screaming success. I think every kid in middle school and, you know, and high school from the first world. I'm not, you know, I'm not prejudiced or anything about third world. This, that. I'm just saying, middle class, whoever it is going to be like something that everyone wants to buy for school. Besides, you know, people who want it and whatever. And then you have the iPhone 6, which has been unbelievable. I bought it. The battery is great. It's like a handheld lifeline for everything. So, you know, I just think that it could continue. So I'm going to try and play it from the bullish side, and hopefully there'll be some kind of calculated play we could do into earnings and then get some type of trade afterwards for a trend, but we'll wait till then. What else? SHAK, oh my goodness. What a friggin' rock star. Okay, a lot of people, Barron's was bearish on it, came out with bad earnings, engulfed it, and when stocks don't go down, when people think they're going to go down, they usually go up. This was, I think, last quarter's earnings. Looked like it was not enough to keep a high valuation stock. They came in and bought it. And here, I think Barron's came out negative. They bought it, following the 8 and 21 day all the way up. And then yesterday, a lot of us got long when it broke above this price here, which was your pivot buy. It closed above the prior IPO and then retested it today, and then even gave you a nice buy above yesterday's high, and boom. And I was in it overnight, sold into this move. Could have actually got out a little early, unfortunately, but here you go. Nice 2-day trade on top of a great trend for a new issue. Congrats if you were in it. That type of move and that type of situation doesn't happen often. What time have we got here? All right, I still got a little bit more. Let's see what else is going on. Oil. Oil still, you know, making its way up. Not a block or barn-burning move, but my feasibility study think tank said 65% the low is in right here. And, you know, if you covered there and got a little long, you're doing okay, and it's still following this trend to the upside. Every dip has been buyable. This trend has been holding. Hasn't gone back to the old resistance here. It's not that powerful, but still better to have switched some gears here on this outside day versus, or an engulfing day versus press and get stubborn and ride it all the way up. So we'll see what's next there. What did gold do today? Gold still weaker. Breaking below this area, you know, some people, if this was a stock, I'd say short it. If it's gold, it has so many bad moves overnight, I would say just stay away. But if you trade it and that's what you do, fine. I remember when it was up on that excitement on that Monday, I'm like, I'd rather see you sell as it filled this gap than buy. And since then, it's been trickling lower. Here is your next support, and it's just gold has not been the place to be. Little small trades. This outside day right here, which was like that oil outside day, gave a clean oversold bounce move. It actually even gave you a little bit more, and now it's really hard to tell. What else? What did BIDU do today? BIDU, nothing so spectacular. Pulled in a little bit. Tesla, I think that was a little weaker today. Hung around. Tesla, you know, still doing some work above this descending channel that it broke the descending channel right around here. Still above it with a little bit more work. Maybe we get an additional move up through the 200-day. Might take earnings, might not. We'll see what's happened. We'll see, might take a Musk tweet. We'll see what he has. And that's it. Tomorrow's Wednesday. Today, if you had a nice little plan, you could have covered your shorts in the hole. You could have looked into that 2082 to 2085 area in the S&P to look for longs that showed relative strength, or get along the spiders or the Russell or the mid caps for a good trade, or, you know, a long that you could maybe trail and have overnight for a potential better action. You know, if you look at the VTF, I think I'm in some spiders, I'm in some BABA, I'm in some Facebook, I'm in some Twitter calls, I'm in some Altera calls, some YY, and some Cyber. Oh, Cyber. CYBR, nice little red dog reversal today, right? Big move off of here. This was one red dog reversal. You had some nice follow through, hit some resistance, reversed, and nice little bull flag where if it were to get above this 60, it could continue. So worth at least a tier 1 to see what's next. And if you look at FEYE, got that extra push because people thought it was going to be awesome on 60 minutes, and it was a little bit of a letdown, and now it still looks like it's all right. Okay, so with those being said, this sector is still in vogue. And that is that. I'll see you tomorrow morning at the morning call with Brittany. Have a good night.